Hello and welcome to the 80s Parenting Podcast. I am Malinda and I am here with my friend Heather. Hello, Heather.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay, Heather. So today, well, first of all, I want to say for new listeners,
Back up.
back up,
Rewind.
rewind, literally. So Heather and I have known each other for 42 years. We've been friends. And our very first episode of this podcast is titled Meet Cute. And it tells the story of how we met 42 years ago. So if you
How
want
we
to,
met cute.
how we met cute. So if you want to go back and listen to that, you're more than welcome. And we have 30 other episodes that you can listen to. So Heather and I decided after we talked about and bashed our parents for stuff that they did to us when we were younger, and or the environment that we grew up in, we decided that we were going to take the things that we really liked because we started talking about, candy and movies and just regular everyday stuff, music, clothing, that kind of thing. And that we would look at them further. So we would kind of do a deep dive on our favorite products and things that we did in the 80s that related to us so that we could share our own experiences with these items. So, Heather,
Indeed. What are we talking about today?
so without further ado, okay,
Okay.
so today I am going to talk about nerds candies.
Yummy.
Dude, I love a nerd candy. It's
I
delicious.
think I actually have some.
Do
I
you?
should have asked if we were going to record this because I have some, maybe. Hold on. Hold, please. Keep
Can't
talking.
record this. We're recording. You have to record a podcast.
No, I know. I didn't know we were going to do this episode first.
So we pick 4 topics a week and we research them, 2 each. And one of mine was nerds, and she doesn't know if we're going to talk about it today.
Oh, no nerds.
Oh no, sad
I
day.
have other things for future episodes, but no nerds. Sorry, kids.
Oh, no nerd candies. Okay.
No nerds.
So, let me start with, I mean, everybody knows what nerds candies are, but I'm going to just start with that anyway. Let's start with the nerds candies and how they are made, Heather.
Oh, do I want to know?
No, you do not. You do not. It's chemical upon chemical upon chemical, but they're so good. So
They're
nerds are
delicious.
made by adding sugar crystals to sugar crystals to sugar crystals and some more sugar crystals, and you add some corn syrup and some malic acid for that tart
Oh,
sour. hmm And then you turn that in these industrial vats for about 6 hours. And these little tiny nerds are produced, and they're all their unique little selves,
oh.
you
They
know.
are all irregularly shaped. There are no
Yeah.
two nerds that are the same shape. And sometimes I feel like there's twin nerds
Twin nerds, yeah.
that didn't get separated at birth. They're like Siamese nerds.
Yeah, maybe. Is that politically correct to say that?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Sorry.
So,
Cut that out.
no. So, nerds are all white prior to them putting in the coloring and the flavoring, which is the last part of the nerds process.
Okay.
And then the original flavors, the 2 original flavor combos were orange cherry and strawberry grape. So
Really?
they came in these and they're still manufactured, the original nerds in the box that has the 2 compartments with the 2 flavors.
I remember strawberry grape. I do not remember orange and cherry. Do
I
you?
don't either. No,
We must have just not liked those flavors.
I think we didn't like the flavors. I don't know.
Strawberry grape is the bomb. And then you mix
Strawberry
them.
grape is the best one. And they also had the next contender was lemon and one other one.
Hmm.
I don't remember what it's, but it came later on down the line.
Okay. Wasn't there a blue one at some point?
Oh, there's all the rainbow of colors, Heather. There's
Okay.
all the rainbow
The
colors.
Roy G. Biv.
They So now the history and the creation of the nerd candies. And
Okay, good,
Heather,
because I have so many questions.
I do have to say it's a little dark.
Really?
It's very strange. And when I was reading things, I was like, what's happening?
Okay.
So, first of all, there are three different people that claim that they created the nerd candy.
I thought it was Willy Wonka.
No.
They actually are Willy Wonka nerds. Yeah, they are.
Hold, please.
Okay. The box said Willy Wonka.
What the box says and what's the truth is two different things, Heather.
Well, Willy
So,
Wonka is also not a real person, so it was lies from the beginning.
those lines from the beginning. Okay. So, first to the scene to claim creation is David and Judy Klein in 1976.
What was
So,
their relationship to Willy Wonka?
stop with the Willy Wonka. There's no Willy Wonka.
Carry on.
There's no what was his name? Gene Wilder. There's no Gene Wilder either. He's not in. Gene ain't in it. Gene did not get his dip his toes in the candy. They worked together to create a sweet corn puff called the Nerd. They wanted to recreate a candy version of the popular 1965 Kellogg cereal.
Tricks.
No,
No.
called Nerd cereal.
What?
Yeah, so there was a
What?
cereal in 1965 that was called Nerds cereal, I guess. Hmm. Like I stated in the last podcast that we had, friends, I should state that the sources I use will be in the show notes today. A lot of Wikipedia and a lot of crazy, and I'll get into a couple of them, crazy websites that
Okay.
articles were written in and proved not correct. So,
Okay.
anyway, so let's first go back and let's go back to the history of the word nerd. And the origin might surprise you, HT, because
Okay.
I was fascinated, like fascinated by this. The first documented appearance of the word nerd is the name of a creature in the Dr. Seuss book, If I Ran the Zoo, circa 1950.
Such a good book.
Yeah, in which the narrator, Gerald McGrew, claims that he would collect a Nurgle, a nerd, and a seersucker too.
Okay.
Okay. So, sadly, Heather, If I Ran a Zoo is now on the banned book list, and
Why?
so are five other of Dr. Seuss's books.
That's just dumb.
Yeah. And they will no longer be published because they portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong.
All right.
Apparently. So if you want, all you have to do is you can find the reading of the books. There's a lady that reads all banned books, and you
Okay.
can find that on YouTube, and she reads the whole book. Now, I couldn't find anything that was harmful or wrong, but I'm not an expert.
Yeah. What
So,
does a nerd look like?
oh, on the thing, it's just like one of his crazy little creatures. It doesn't
Huh.
look like the candy people.
I'm gonna
Like
look while you keep talking.
it doesn't look like the little candy guys at all.
Okay.
It's like one of his weird little dudes. Anyway, now back to the nerds candy. So another claimed creator and inventor of the nerds is Angelo Fragos in 1983, Faggos. So he worked for one of the candy companies, but
Okay.
another is Robert Bowden, Bob Anderson, Bob Schweppen, Walt Holt, Sam Black. They were all these people were in a group at the Breaker Willy Wonka factory back in the early 1980s.
I
And
believe this
this is
story.
where huh?
I said I believe this story already.
Okay. And Robert Bowden, yeah, there he is. There's the nerd. I guess it kind of does
Okay.
look like a nerd candy, maybe. No, not really.
I don't know.
So this was interesting. So I was reading this article and they claimed that Angelo Fragos was the inventor of the nerd, right? But this Robert guy made a comment on the lady's like news article,
Uh,
and he said that this group of men back in the day at the Breaker Willy Wonka factory in the early 1980s, and he says 1981 to be exact, it was initially test marketed in early 1981 and trademarked in 1983 when it saw more national success and distribution. So he commented on this lady's thing saying that's not true, that it was this group at the candy factory. But the other guy worked at the candy factory, so I think he kind of just took credit for it. And so
okay.
so good old Angelo took credit
So
for
it was the people at the Willy Wonka factory that
it. Who knows? It could be Judy.
maybe. Okay.
You know, it could be Angelo, it could be David and Judy Klein. So who
I
knows?
think
But
it was the Wonka people because it
yeah.
literally said Willy Wonka on the box. Either that or they stole the idea from
No,
the other
Willy Wonka
people.
was the candy company.
No, I know. But these people, the group of the three
That's what I
guys,
mean.
worked
So
at the
who
Willy Wonka
knows?
Candy
Who
Company.
knows who made what?
Plus,
So,
nerds aren't made out of corn, and those other people wanted to make some sort of a corn product.
well, they wanted to make a candy version of it.
Oh, the cereal was corn.
Yeah, the cereal was corn. So I'm
Gotcha.
sure that they would kind of do the same process
Uh-huh.
as the Willy Wonka company.
Okay.
And they would process it the same way to make like a hard condensed version of the cereal, like a candied version of the corn cereal.
Okay.
So, anyway,
Makes sense.
so one of those people. But in my mind, I kind of as well want to believe the makers of candy in
Yeah.
the factory. Like, it's like the what was one of their guys' names? Like Robert talked to Bob and Bob and Bob and Bob and Bob and Robert, Bob and Bob got together and said, let's try this treat and add more corn syrup. But it's like they're so tiny that I would think that it would be like a mess up in the factory
Yeah, I'm like, wonder if they were trying to make like a gobstopper.
or something. And
And
like,
they had some like little leftover chunks at the
yeah,
bottom of the
exactly.
spinner thing. And they're
Yeah,
like, oh, hey, let's add some flavor to this and call it
yeah,
nerds.
exactly. Kind of like that Cheetos guy with the hot Cheetos, like that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that they were like discard pieces and they're like, hey, maybe we can use this
Yeah.
and call it something. And then they came up with nerd, which is weird because the other people, Judy and David, wanted to replicate the nerd cereal. So I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know if any of those people have a connection or if Bob and Walt went to like dinner at the Kleins and they
Yeah.
overheard them talking about something and then they saw the product on the floor of the
At the
vats in the candy
factory.
factory and either Walt or Sam came back and were like, yo, we should make this and call it nerds.
Right.
And then they never talked to the Kleins again, that kind of thing.
Throw that in the spinner and add some flavor.
Exactly. So Nerds is an American candy launched in 1983 by the Sunmark Corporation under the brand name Willy Wonka Candy Company.
Okay.
So that was the brand name, not the company that produced them.
Yeah.
So Nerds are now made by Ferrera Candy Company, a subsidiary of Ferrera Group, which still distributes internationally by Nestle. So internationally, it's still
Ah,
Nestle, but here it's the Ferrero company. So a little
right.
history, which has fascinated me on the uh, Fiero company. So Pietro Ferrero, God, I'm butchering this, was born September 2nd, 1898, and he was the founder.
1898.
Mhm. He was the
Dang.
founder of the Ferrera SPA, an Italian confectionery and chocolatier company. He invented Nutella.
Yum.
Yeah. Nutella, and which sold to 160 countries. Isn't that crazy?
That's wild. It's
That's
really big though in like Italy and
oh yeah, I mean, hence he was
he's
Italian.
Italian. But I mean, yeah, it's like way bigger there than it is here.
Yeah. So the Ferrero Rochers, those little candies, they also
Those are
made
good.
those, and they made Tic Tacs and
Oh,
the Kinder chocolate brand, like those the
okay.
Kinder eggs.
Yeah.
After his death in 1949, his only son took over the business, and that was Michele Fierro. So
Okay.
and he was an Italian billionaire businessman. He owned the chocolate factory, and it was Europe's second largest confectionery company at the time of his death. So after his death, he left it to his two sons, Pietro and Giovanni. And unfortunately, Pietro died in April of 2011
Yeah.
in I think it was a bicycle accident or like a boating accident, something like that. Anyway, so Giovanni took over and he assumed the leadership of the confectionery company for SPA after the death of his brother Pietro in 2011. And his first little fortune is estimated at 43.8 billion,
Oh
according
my
to
gosh.
2024 Forbes. So he's the 26th richest man in the world. So if you believe all those numbers, who knows?
Wow.
So the Ferrera Candy Company owns many of the candies that we know today, including the Nerds candy, and so they basically bought up everybody.
So do they own all of the Wonka stuff, like Gobstoppers
Yeah,
and yeah.
they got the Wonkas, and they acquired in 2023. They acquired the Jelly Belly Candy Company.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which by the way, I tried to stay on task, but I went off task and got down a rabbit hole with Jelly Belly. Whew,
Mhm.
wow, talk about dark. And another fun fact is in 2024, they discontinued the fruit stripe gum, which
Oh,
Chad was very sad about that day.
me too. That stuff was delicious for about 30 seconds.
I, I know.
Then it was just a problem for your jaw.
Yep. And the history of no nerds is quite interesting. There are many different flavors of nerds now, and all the combinations, sours and big chewy nerds, and a new fave is the gummy nerd cluster.
So good.
I know. So the little history on the nerd's rope is interesting. So one of the employees at the Wonka factory in 2001 poured a ratio of gummy mixture on the tiny nerds and then went to lunch. He came
Oh,
back and the candy had hardened slightly, making it gummy and chewy. And so then they started manufacturing the Nerds rope, which was very successful.
nice.
And more recently in 2020, Nerds had invented the gummy clusters, which is basically the Nerds rope cut into clusters.
Right.
And now they're skyrocketing in sales. And I would say to whomever one of these people created the nerd candy, they've been a success for like 41 years.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? So I do have a little bag of nerds. Oopsie. The little clusters. There they are.
Clusters.
And they are delicious.
I can't have them in my house. I will eat the entire
I
bag anyway.
know, I know. It's terribly, terribly bad for you, but they are delicious, and there is no mention of the name Wonka on the bag. So
No, it was just on the original box of
yeah,
Nerds. I don't even know if it's still on the boxes of Nerds.
yeah, I have no idea. But
You
anyway,
know what's
the
interesting?
Ferrera Candy Company is on there.
What's interesting, you were talking about the ropes and how the clusters are like just tiny versions, but the clusters are way softer. That's what I never liked about the rope is I always
Yeah.
felt like the licorice center
Mhm.
was too hard.
They did say something about that on the Nerds clusters. They did a 50-50 ratio formula of whatever their gooey formula is. And
Yeah.
he made it where it was 50-50 instead of, I don't know, whatever it was
Yeah. I mean, I get
before.
why it had to be stiffer for the rope so it would hold its form, but
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just never cared for the
Yeah, too chewy.
ropes.
I
Yeah.
love the Nerds rope, but I always, And the funny thing is I would cut them in little pieces for Paige when she was little.
Yeah.
And so I could say I was the inventor of the Nerds gummy cluster.
Gummy clusters. There you go.
I'm
Another
sure.
missed opportunity.
I know, right? I'm sure I wasn't the only one that thought of
Yeah,
the Nerds clusters. So anyway, Heather, that's a little bit of a fun facts about one little tiny candy.
that's fascinating.
Isn't it?
And they are delicious.
They are delicious, and it was fun. This has been so much fun for me taking a topic and researching it because
Yeah,
we just ate them
I know.
when we
Now I
were
want to
little.
walk to 7-Eleven across the street and get a box of
There you go.
nerds.
It's like we never thought like, oh, we should, I mean, of course, all of us wanted to visit the Wonka factory if it ever existed.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, obviously it did, the name anyway.
Hmm.
But it was really what was it, the Sunco company.
Yeah.
But now, these Italian chocolatiers own basically everything.
Wow.
I had the list, but I'm not going to list them out. So
No, that's okay.
there you go. The
You gave a
history.
condensed version.
Exactly.
What
The
was your favorite flavor of nerds?
Oh, I'm team uh the the cherry now. I like the red. Like on these nerd things, I prefer the red ones
Yeah, me
over
too.
the blue. But they only had the blue. But I am the total grape.
Yeah, the original nerd grape.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah,
Strawberry grape. The red, anything with the red in it. Red and purple.
yeah.
I like those
Love
flavors.
me some red dye.
Mhm. I know. It's all basically just sugar, chemicals, and
Well, yeah.
malic acid.
What most of our food is now if you don't make it yourself.
That's true. That's true. But they are delish. They are
They are.
delish. They suck you in, those candy makers. No,
They
I
sure
mean,
do.
he has 43.8 billion for some reason, and that's one of them, the nerds.
Jesus.
I'm sure in 2020, he's like, oh, hell yeah. Bring out those
Right?
clusters. Go ahead, sell them up. And they were
Yeah.
hard to find for a while.
Yeah.
Now they're everywhere, and they're expensive.
And so I know so many people that absolutely are addicted to the
Yeah, they're
clusters.
good.
Like I so
Yeah.
many people that I know.
So the funny thing is, during the pandemic, when we were bored AF and we were just like going to stores, just looking around, I
Yeah.
bought them. I'm like, what is this? And I
Yeah.
bought them, and ever since, and then I couldn't find them for the longest time. But now they
And
have,
you couldn't find toilet paper either.
yeah, but I would rather have the Nerds candy than the toilet paper.
Really?
But
Okay.
yeah, who cares? I could find other stuff for toilet paper. Yeah. Can't find the candies though.
True.
All right, thanks everybody.